Right, we're recording. Anything you say now can and you will be used against you.
Not the first time that's been said.
Right.
Well, this is my channel, so everybody knows who I am. I'm Craig. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Eric.
I'm Rachel. I don't know why I'm waving like that.
Craig, addict.
Eric, addict.
Rachel, addict.
Right, well, I thought we could start by just, Eric, you telling a bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thanks very
Get
much.
comfy.
Thanks very much, and I'm grateful and very thankful that you've invited us on your first podcast. That's what I say, a serious podcast, whether it's awareness for addiction or whatever it is, and you're not actually ripping the piss out of anybody. So
Yet.
I'm hoping that's not Well, there's a lot of yets in this recovery business. Put it that way. So I just, bit about myself, fucking raving lunatic, to tell you the truth.
Time served.
Time served. I'm from a normal background. Parents 17, 19, hard up background. Got the best upbringing they could do with the tools that they had at the time. Wanted fun out. Got everything that I needed from my father, who was a hard worker. Worked till the very, very end. 73 score years and 10, and that's all he got. He didn't get any bonus years. I believe I had a good upbringing. Worked all my life. I think this is where the addiction came in from. Everything I've ever done, I did it to the max. No holds barred. It was either all in or all out.
Take me through those from the start.
I got bullied as a kid, to be perfectly honest. I'm supposed to mention names or not, but even by the soft kids in the school. Dean Roylance, Nigel Valentine. If you're out there, you'll remember the hiding you got. And never really felt wanted, never really felt accepted. Always wanted to be accepted, always wanted to be somebody, always wanted to be something, but I just felt like a tramp, felt ashamed, and didn't know what I was ashamed of. Because to be perfectly honest, in them days, nobody had absolutely jack shit. You know, there were hard times in the 70s and where we came from. Dad took us to judo, took up judo, and quickly became aware of the fact that I could, you know, I've never liked confrontation, but I quickly became aware that I'm pretty fucking good at it. Like,
Aye.
and it was on the school field, you know, and every time I got bullied and chained on the school field, note ever came of it, you know, apart from me bubbling, feeling ashamed and feeling that I wasn't tough enough to man up, grow a set of balls and do anything back to me, you know. And this one day I just snapped and quickly became the heavyweight champion of Beacon Hill First School. Went on from there, went all the way through, hated school, absolutely hated school. Learned absolutely jack shit from it. There was this teacher called Daft Jack. I remember a teacher called Daft Jack, Mr. Hastings. He was an English teacher, and I always remember him. I was a dolly daydreamer, and I'd be looking around the class, and he'd pick on me. It was like everybody always picked on me all my life. He'd pick on me and say, "Phil, read the next chapter," and I'd just shit myself, and my face would go beetroot red. And I hated it that much that I actually scarred the last 4 years of high school. I just didn't go, and I came in the morning.
So practically all of it.
All of it. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear the shame, like, you know. I just couldn't bear it. Anyway, went on from there, left school, got a job. I thought it was easier to get a job, not do my exams, and explain to any future employer why it was that I had any exams, because it was me likely why I left school to get my first job, my first apprenticeship, which wasn't really an apprenticeship. It was making handbags and Burberrys. But I left before the Easter because I was actually expelled from all the exams. I was barred from them. Yeah. I wouldn't have passed them anyway. And it was easier to explain to a future employer why I didn't take me exams, i.e. I left school and didn't take them because of loyalty to my employer, rather than take me exams and explain why I failed them all because I'm thick as fuck.
Yeah.
So I moved on from there.
Just 2 seconds, I'm getting really insecure on that canvas. Watching me. Oh, cut that bit out.
If anybody doesn't know,
I might put that at the start.
This is Rachel, and I've brought along good friend in recovery.
Yes. Recovery has brought us two together.
Us three
Us
together.
three, yes. Craig as well.
And thank you for the prayer that you said just to wish we're the best and ask for your help from God.
Yes.
If that's your thing, that's your thing, you know. And I hope this goes well, you know.
So from your first employer, when did the addiction start?
Oh, addiction. In the end, it was the alcohol, the drugs. When they came about, you know, they were the solution to my behaviours. They were the solution to me hole in the soul that they all talk about. The feeling of emptiness, the feeling of wanting to be somebody better. The feeling of wanting to be, what do they call it? Recognised just as something. Something with a purpose that I never felt. I got pissed all the time, to tell you the truth. I started drinking before I left school. I used to steal the spirits out of my dad's cupboard, and he was on to us. He always used to put a little line on the labels where the last drink was, but I was wise to that as well, so I used to fill it up with water. And he was a good cook as well, so he baked Christmas cakes at Christmas. And everybody that knows about cooking and baking Christmas cakes is you set them on fire with the brandy. Yeah. And when you went to pour the brandy on the cake to let it on fire, the fucking fire wouldn't light. And I got a fucking hiding. But it changed the way I felt, and I loved it. But my real addiction and signs of just, you know, being flat out, didn't start. I was about 19-year-old. And I know how that changes because I found the rave scene. Mm-hmm. And once I started taking the ecstasy, I remember I got my first rave, which was it was Resurrection 6 or 7, so I was a late starter. Aye. And I turned up in my straight press suit trousers, brogues, and a Hawaiian shirt, looking like Tom Selleck, you know, so I didn't look like the people in the cycling vests or they had the white, what did they have? They had the white boiler suits on and fucking all kinds of shit, you know, so I'm turning up like Tom Selleck, like looking like a complete twat, you know. But I started taking the drugs and that just led from one to another and I just got absolutely flat out. I was flat out got addicted to speed, got addicted to ecstasy. The speed became an every night occurrence, like, you know, it was ounces of it a week, you know, it was.
How long was that for?
Well, I still trying to convince myself that I was in active addiction from speed for about 5 years. But looking back, it was definitely a lot more than that because I was still addicted to speed when I got married. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get married till 97. And I was flat out from when I was 19. And I was still in active addiction with speed for about 3 years of marriage, I would say, before the good wife. Yeah. I don't know, it was her that got us off it, or whether it was just a natural progression. But to be perfectly honest, an ounce of speed at the time was 100 quid, and that just manifested into an ounce of fucking cocaine every week, which was like 1,000 quid. Yeah. You know, so it just escalated from one to another. You know, and so absolutely flat out all my life, and you know. It'll be a weekend thing with the cocaine and the party and at a good friend's house. Won't mention his name. He turned out to be the best man, like, you know. I travelled the country with a rave scene, nocturnals. The morning I was coming, went all the way to Bristol, went to a nocturnal up in Scotland, in Glasgow. I seen some terrible things there, you know. Nocturnal in Cramlington, where I dropped these things called crack barrels.
Right.
And what are they?
What the fuck's that?
There were supposed to be ecstasies by this time. I was like Pablo Escobar and I was fucking selling ecstasy. Only to pass out in the middle of the rave and fucking somebody just pick all my pellets up, you know. There were 20 pound a pop at the time, I remember. Aye. And then they were called crack barrels or smack barrels, whatever they were called, and that's probably what they were like. It was that absolutely took me out for 12, 14. I was like hallucinating, you know, not knowing where I was. And it went on for about 2 or 3 days, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. As did all my drug taking, it went on for days and days and days, you know? Yeah.
I did something similar with the speed, with the timeline of how long I was on it. I thought I was on speed for 9 or 10 years, and then when I, sobered up and I started looking back at Facebook photos or memories and stuff, I was like, oh, it was more like 14 year. So I lost 3 or 4 year, which is fucking insanity in it.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and that's what they say when you get into recovery, you look for verification of why you did these things and to try and explain away why you did these things. And the things that you did were insanity. The places that you got were insane. The danger that you put yourself in. I remember going to a shindig once.
Yeah.
And like I say, I always thought it was a bit of, I wouldn't put up with any shit. I've got the little bit at the beginning where I'm happy and the little bit at the end where I'm snapping balls over people's heads. I've got the little bit of negotiations, like, a bit in the middle. And I was engaged at the time. And I was always a jealous bloke because whatever I've got, I want to hold on to it because of my lack of self-worth. If I get a beautiful looking lass and I've fallen in love with her, I want to keep a hold of that, and nobody's getting their hands on. And it drove us to insanity with behaviours that she's doing this, she's doing that. And I couldn't stand them having ex-boyfriends. And John had an ex-boyfriend, and I'm going to mention his name because the bastard tried to stab us. Or he tried to have us stabbed. And that that did actually happen. Shane reduced us to him. She used to go out with him, and he was a drug dealer, and he's a proper villain. Call the kid. So I'm going to mention his name, I don't give a fuck. And so if you're out there and now you did it, and I found out that you did it.
I'm removing
wasn't frightened you then,
podcast.
and I'm not frightened you now. So, and it was just part of the journey. So we're all sorted.
Aye.
Shane reduces him in the queue of Shindig. What I didn't realise was he was running the drugs for a certain crew in the Shindig. Not realising the danger because, I'm walking around in 18 stone at the time, I'm thinking, but that doesn't make half of the difference to, when you're in close quarters in there in the madness, And I said, I didn't give a fuck who you are. I've heard all about you're a fucking shithouse. And I just get out my fucking face. And he didn't like it. And I can probably understand why he didn't like it, to be perfectly honest. And it wasn't until the end of the night, went to the toilets and I thought was I hallucinating because I was off my tits, but I wasn't. He had sent one of the runners or one of his lads, pulled a shiv out and tried to stab us. Got out the road a bit, put me back up against the wall for the rest of the night. Wouldn't tell the 20 kids that I was in there with at all because one, I didn't want to ruin the night, and two, I didn't want to cause chaos, which it would have turned out in. But I tell one of my pals, who ended up being my best man over the back of this, what had happened. And he tells me, mate, we were back to Cramlington because I had a car outside. Made me way back to Cramlington. He was a youngest acting sergeant in the British Army. And he did his tours in Northern Ireland and all kinds. And he wasn't frightened of conflict. And he knew what he was a petrol bomb. And he told us again, gone back to Cramlington, and he would make his way out. Sacrificed his night, made his way back to Cramlington, found out where the kid lived. There was never any comeback, so I didn't know whether a petrol bombed the wrong fucking house, like, to be perfectly honest. But that did happen. Or at least we went looking for it, and he became my best man in the day,
So tell a bit about your boxing.
Yeah, well, first of all, I did the boxing career as an amateur. I came back as a senior. Like my dad did for me, and he was also called the Monk as a judo player.
Because that's your name as a boxer, wasn't it?
The name was a boxer, as a monk.
The Mad Monk.
And you've got to earn
and
your name.
he still is the Mad Monk.
You kind of just can't call yourself something, you've got to earn it. But there was an Eric the Viking out at the time.
Yeah.
There was an Eric the Viking out at the time. And like I said, I did the judo with my kids. I became a judo coach. I won the national title 3 times. My son became British judo champion as a junior as well, which I'm very, very proud of. Became a judo sensei, coach, downgrade, fought at a good level. And that was after my amateur boxing career, which I became, I fought the ABA finals heavyweights, beat a kid called Graham Kelso, who still holds that against us to this day, if anybody knows who Graham is. Got beat off a big fireman from the Berkeley Boxing Club. Knocked him down 3 times and nearly got there, but just ran out of steam. He got a bye to the final, and I had to box twice. Taking nothing away from it, at the end of the day. But I did knock him down 3 times, and I was that close to winning that, My son is now turning pro. he got to the highest level as an amateur.
Yep.
Made me look insignificant with his talent, and I've proved, I'm over the moon and proud of that. He's took his own journey and he's turned pro now. But my boxing career in unlicensed turned from doing the judo. I was doing the judo at the time, and I was working as a contracts manager and retired from boxing. I think it was about 28, 29, 30 even when I got it at the unlicensed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing, I work with a lot of people from Sunderland, and at the utilities firm that I was a contracts manager at, and they were all ranting and raving about this Eric the Viking from Sunderland. You got to see his fight him on
I was
the
there.
return. Yeah, on the return.
Oh, were you there? So had you met before?
Not really, no. But I was there.
He refereed the fight.
I was a
He
judge.
refereed
I was
the
a
fight.
judge. I was a
Small
judge.
world, innit?
So yeah. I just came out with it. I mean, the bloke was knocking about a 24, 25 stone. He was 6'3", 6'4". He was not the best boxer in the world, but he was paggering everybody. Like, he was a big old unit, you know. And I said I can beat him, like. And I made a comeback as a unlicensed. And in my day when I went in the unlicensed, they were all ex-pros, good kids: Gary Furby, Jimmy Mack, James McCrory, Mark Potter, Chris Bacon, Super Cooper, Kev Taylor, boxed him as well for an area title. Good kids. And I came back and to prove to this Sunderland lot. And as it happens, on the night that Eric the Viking, I was supposed to fight Eric the Viking, you're getting locked up. A couple of days before. Didn't tell him because I was bus loads came to watch us, like, you know. It was I fought somebody called Mike the White Tiger, Jew. There's another story to tell about that somewhere down the line, like, you know. A Jew from Manchester. He came up and I fought him, beat him, and I went on to fight a lot of times. I had 69 in me whole fight. I went all over the country. Spencer Brown was who's Tyson Fury's.
Yeah, Tyson Fury's.
He ran a federation called European Boxing Federation, and I boxed under them. And the referee, he refereed, but he ran it. He's a big gypsy guy, called a travelling guy. A lot of respect for him. I would have fought anybody that he asked us to fight, and he'll man up and he'll say that was the case. I fought Billy the Kid Brown in Blackpool. I fought a kid called Gaz Brown in Blackpool. That's where Spencer's from. That's where Phil Riley's from, up that way. Livingston and where's it that Tyson Fury lives again?
Oh, Morecambe, is it?
Morecambe. He's from Morecambe. That's where Big Phil's from. Great guy. And he looked after us. He did. He looked after us. And every time I fought, I got a massive following, and I got a massive thrill from it, from the whole build-up. And do you know what? That kept us up the drink because, like I said earlier, like anything I did, I obsessed over it and I gave it me all. I gave everything me all. Unfortunately, I gave me drugs me all. And unfortunately, I'd give me drinking me all as well. I just didn't know when to stop. I just gave it my best shot. And a fight camp would be 3 months, and I would train like an absolute animal. And anybody that trained with us in the past, Mickey Kocher, hope you didn't mind us using your name. You know, I spent the latter years of the career in with him. What a great guy that man is. Toughest bloke that I've ever been hit off. Yeah. He was my sparring partner as well. Great friend. Just a great man. But he'll tell you, we're trained like absolute animals. I might go missing once or twice, and if I went missing once or twice, it would be like for a week. Because like I say,
nothing by halves.
As soon as that drug touched my nostril, or that drink touched my lips, that was me flat out for a week until I dropped. And it would take a couple of days, and Mick knew where I was, and Mick would always say, listen, you get back in the gym. It'll take one session. You know, I used to hate going back in the gym because you're looking around, you're all paranoid at the top with the curtain twitching. It was the same going back to the gym, and it was my gym. So I had no reason to be, worried about going there. And as soon as I do that session, I'd be flat out again. I'd be sorted again, back in the zone. So I gone 3 months and I'd be up the drink. But I'd walk out to the fight and I'd plan my own entrance music, which was a great tune. various different tunes because I'd planned that over the course of the 3-month training camp. I'd get a new pair of boxing shorts made every time I fought by Susie Wong, who makes Mia Khan's,
Ricky Hatton's,
all them. I think she was charging between 6 and 1,000 quid a pop for trousers. Now that you've, when we're in the madness, we thought we were Billy Big Bollocks and we wore fur jackets.
All right, Harry.
My big Belcher chains. My thing was boxing shorts. Mm-hmm. I had to have a new pair of boxing shorts every time. So I had the tiger skin, I had the leopard skin, and tiger skin mix, which never went. Frills, tassels, I had Union Jack, I had black and white Union Jacks. I had Union Jack on one side of the shorts, but not the other. One side on one side on the back. And every time I came up with different names. I was the obsessions with that. Like I just wanted to be seen, and I wanted people to have a laugh. Not at the expense, but like with us, like he's a fucking cracker. It just made us feel good. Now, I was Rude Dog. I had that written on my shorts one time with always Eric the Mad Monk written on the back. So it was on the front. Rude Dog. I was the hardcore general. I was the debt collector. I did a bit of the debt collecting one time, and I think I must have a big heart, too big. And it was proper debt collecting because
that'll be off all the Charlie.
I was also a magistrate's bailiff one time, and I also followed the county court bailiffs around to chaperone them.
Too bad we didn't know you then.
Which is helped us know because of now the laws. With Frank Thorburn and co anyway. But the debt collecting I'm talking about here now, why I was called the debt collector is because I took up a bit of debt collecting for nasty people. Mm-hmm. And the first, my daughter still pisses herself laughing at this one. So I went out to collect this debt. I can't even remember what the debt was. And I went to the kids' house and I grabbed him at the door and he shit his pants and he started crying his eyeballs out. And by the time I'd left, I'd not only not collected the debt, I'd bought him a Chinese. I'm not fucking joking. And the daughter, I actually took the daughter.
And a pair of boxing shorts for £1,000.
To sell. That's the truth. If you ever asked me daughter, Jessica, she's called, Dad's a debt collector. Fucking not very good one. Okay. And that's the crack now. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Because we're getting resentment at times. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Dad, you'll probably end up buying them a Chinese. But anyway, I also like the showbiz style, which you'll probably know about yourself. It's not just about the fights that go on, because some of these fights only last minutes,
Yeah.
There were only 4 rounders and 6 rounders anyway, even the title level, the unlicensed game, but it was fast and it was furious. But it was all about the walkout for me. It was all about the walkout.
Like a wrestler.
In the showbiz. So I had a bloke called Mal Scott, God bless and God rest his soul. Beautiful man. He was, on another note, he was Ginger McCain, the horse racer, who was in charge of Red Rum. He was his sidekick once. Loved the racing as well. Loved the boxing. Loved sport in general, and loved people from the northeast and the sport, like John Daver, like Paul King, like Manny Burgo, like James McCrory. Followed James McCrory for his bare knuckle thing when he boxed in the backyard down at London. Followed him all over the place. But man also liked the strippers for different reasons. He liked going to watch them. He liked ferrying them about. He liked getting them work. And you could get them work on my shows that I boxed on, whether they were the shows that I put on or whether they were the shows that I just boxed on. I always had 5 of his girls from different bars. And I don't know if I should say this, but they ended up becoming, like the members' bells, Elvis's lot. Well, these became Mal's Mingers. They were absolutely.
I'm not.
Yes, one lovely girls. That's what you were. And they did us proud. She walked us out with the big England flags. My kids used to be at the front of the crowd, and the music was pumping, and it was great. But at the end of every show, when it was done, and I always won most of the time. I think I lost 3 in total, and they were all the way from home against really good kids. Which when you box away from home, you've got to knock them out just to get a draw. Mm-hmm. At the end of every show, it will be exactly the same. That hole in the soul will come back. It's like, right, everybody's seen us now. Nobody's shaking my hand, nobody's patting us on the back, nobody's saying, well done, Eric. The whole crowd's gone home. There's no training camp left. There's no 3 months left. There's just the void at the end. And me. And by that time, I've already picked up the drink to fill that hole in the soul.
Aye.
And I know where it came from now, which I know myself 8 months in. I'm 8 months sober now.
Go on, Eric.
And
Well done.
And 3 months clean from a minor relapse on a couple of tablets because I got addicted to them. I would have took fucking anything. I'm just glad I didn't take heroin.
Yeah.
And I am. And Ricky Gervais said this. I said this last night. You know, it's like eating Pringles. Once you pop, you cannot stop.
Aye.
You know, like fucking eating hobnobs. You break the packet up and you just can't fucking stop. And if I took heroin, you know, too much heroin, it equals death, like.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where I would have ended up. I took fucking plant fertilizer. I did that much one night. I was hallucinating so badly. I felt like I was in fucking hell. Plant fertilizer. Fucking tatties growing out of my ears. And by the time I was hallucinating, other people had tatties growing out of their fucking ears, you know? It was mad. I would have took anything if that one had stopped working, you know?
So before we move into the recovery part of your story,
Yeah.
tell a little bit about the dark times.
Well, you know, I got invited to a gangsters ball from, and I won't mention names, but there were the rangings from the town. It was everybody that was anybody was there, and it was at Sam Booker's down on the A19.
Right.
It was a big trip bus. It was a big band from Scotland played there, and I felt great that night because one of these gangsters was Scottish, and he had seen us fight Big John Stevens. And he said, I thought you got that night. I was there at the Crown Plaza Hotel when he got interviewed on Scottish telly. And I was there and I thought you won that fight. And I'm thinking, fucking, that was validation for me. He's like, whoa. And I'm telling all these gangsters, this bloke. Like, they weren't fucking interested.
Aye.
And I took my 16-year-old son. I don't think it was 16. Took my 16-year-old son. Anyway, we did what we did. We came back. We're going to live back with my dad. My dad came and picked me up. And that's when I realised, fucking hell, this can take us some... I thought every drug in the early days was going to be like ecstasy.
Yeah.
It was going to make you loved and love everybody, but that's not what it was, because the next thing I'm on a fucking bank all the money sitting in my mate's house melting an eighth of black Lebanese tack into the yogurt pot and eating the whole lot, and that was me for fucking 3 days, and it didn't make us love anybody, like.
Aye.
But this night, we came back with the cocaine had gone, and my laddie was in the fucking room. Sorry about that, but it was the big rage at the time. It was called MCAT.
Aye,
It was
I remember
called
that.
Meow. It was called whatever you want. It was fucking plant food, right? And he had this stuff, and the first line of it felt just like cocaine. And I sniffed my cocaine like eating hobnobs. I just went until I fucking dropped. Then my heart popped out, and even then I'd keep on trying again. But when you do too much plant fertilizer, it's fucking poison, like, and it absolutely sent me to hell, and I couldn't get to sleep. It was horrible, and I realised things were starting to get dark. Things were starting to become a problem. But you know, the really dark times, so we're going to start talking about recovery, came, you know, years and years. I'm 53 now, born 1st of the 9th, 1970. So I'm 53, coming 54 in September. And so from 19, 20, 30, 40, I spent 43 fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out, to the degree.
Lucky to be alive.
You have no idea how lucky to be alive I am. I didn't, and there's a reason for it, and I didn't know what that reason is. But honestly, in the end, and I thought it was the last 3-4 months. But now, looking back, it was like the last 2-3 years. But it got really, really dark at the end, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was alcohol in the end that took us to my knees. My business got liquidated. I wouldn't have gone into that one. This one's for another podcast. They've contacted us the day actually as it happens, but I've got no fear over that one now at all.
Yeah.
Different conversation. But I thought, as you do, that's why I ended up being brought to my knees. That's what sent us on the edge. It wasn't. I was already flat out. I was turning up to work, 27 blokes. Company got liquidated for 1.2 million quid. I spent 4 years with them, and I wasn't present. I was turning up to see a lot of men off to work, not being present, and going straight back to the bar and drinking my spirits dry.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on for years. And in the end, that's just not going to work with anybody. So they liquidated the company. I spent another year in addiction, started a new company up that clearly wasn't going to work looking back on things. And I did some insane things then as well. I was going to work. In the end, I was drinking up to 12 bottles, 24/7, 12 bottles of red wine in a 24-hour session, and 4 cans of Kessler Super Strength was me tipple. I used to turn up in the shop at 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes with these socks and shoes on, sometimes with one sock on, a shoe on the other foot, sometimes with one trainer and one shoe on, like, you know, whatever I could pick up that morning, and I'd still be sitting in the same clothes from 2-3 days ago. It got dark in the very end, like it got really, really dark. On a podcast, I don't even think I want to go into the places that you got.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the toilet in the middle of the night. My wife didn't sleep in the same bedroom as me in the end, and I can't blame her. Not just because there was wine bottles lying all over the place that I was hiding because I didn't think she would see them. But because the room was stinking, it didn't get changed. It was absolutely rotten. I was sweating all night, couldn't sleep, waking up with anxiety, jumping in the Porsche, can't get more wine to try and get us back to sleep in the middle of the night, 24/7. And I'd gone to the toilet. This is how bad things get, you know. I'd gone to the toilet and, like old men do, try and squeeze the last of it out and not realise by the time you get to bed that the last of it didn't come out. And you think, you know, I can't be bothered to wipe out the toilet again. Like, fuck it. Just hopefully it just got me a little bit. Sometimes it wasn't just a little bit, like, you know. But they were really dark times, and it was 24/7. And do you know what? I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to wake up in the morning, but I didn't want to die either. It's mad. I kind of wanted to see it all happen because I didn't want to leave the family behind, but I didn't want to be here either. Mm-hmm. And I was disappointed when I had to get up and say face life. I didn't fucking face life. I got up and as far as I went, I got up and I went to the shop. Sometimes I went to work and in the digger on the site and sat and dug excavations over high voltage electricity. Now, with my son in the trench, I've got photographs of that stuff. It's just the pure insanity of what you do. Your entire life revolves around the finding and the using of alcohol or whatever it is that your body's now be dependent on, and there's no way out. It's called becoming powerless over your addiction.
Yeah.
You know, drinking against your will, really. I didn't want to be drinking, but I was too frightened of how that would feel and how long it would last before I didn't. I knew that if I just stopped there and then, and anybody that knows anything about dependency, if I just stopped, I would die. Mm-hmm. So I didn't think I really wanted to die because all I had to do was stop drinking. But, you know, my wife used to turn around to us and say, just stop. Can you not just stop for the grandkids? My answer was fucking no. Well, that wasn't my answer. I was like, I'll try. So I'd get 4 cans of Kestrel Super. Sorry, I'd get 4 cans of, or 6 cans of Stella Artois at 6% instead of 4 cans of Kestrel Super Strength at 9%. And then I'd be flat out the next morning and fucking ordering a big bag of cocaine and then flat out with the drink again. Couldn't do it, like, couldn't do it, you know. It got dark, really dark at the end. And looking back, I'm struggling to even remember the things that happens. I can remember some of the madness that happened. But and I'm grateful for my wife that was there at the end, like, you know, she was still there at the end.
So tell about your recovery then.
Well, here now, 8 months, it's like chalk and cheese, it's black and white, it's absolutely unbelievable. They talk about this life beyond your wildest dreams. And if anybody had mentioned a life beyond my wildest dreams, which I've looked for all my life, by the way,
yep,
it will be a pool in Miami, and it will be a big mansion by the beach, and a yacht, you know, a big Range Rover, would say, and a Porsche.
All materialistic things.
All materials, and I got a lot of them things. They never did nothing for us. Never got the pool, never got the yacht, like, but nevertheless,
that's time yet.
But I know 8 months in, that's not what they meant at all. The life beyond your wildest dreams is, and my mum actually says, God, you look so much happier. And I generally am happy in my own skin. To a certain degree, I'd say you've got to love yourself before you can love anybody else. I don't think I'll ever love myself in the way that we're talking about here. But I'm happy enough in my old skin, and now I'm doing the next right thing on a daily basis, and now I'm turning up in the morning for life and being the best version of me I can be. And if you don't like that, she doesn't like that, anybody else doesn't like that, I'm not really bothered about their opinions because I'm happy with what I'm doing and I know it's right, you know. So that's what recovery's like. But what it took to get there was, and what is it they mentioned, Rachel?
Honest, open-minded and willingness.
Surrender. Honest, open-mindedness, and
willingness.
willing.
We are well on our way.
And I was willing to do absolutely anything to not have the obsession of drinking. I would have done anything to get well. Didn't even know why I needed to get well. I wanted to get well. I just I had checked out. I was not present in the least. And they say surrender. I know for a fact I surrendered. And they say surrender to win. And that doesn't even make sense in my book, because to surrender as a fighter all my life, now that means you give up. But it's actually, I'm just going to take my quote off.
Yeah, go for it.
The gift of desperation or surrender, whatever they call it. I know that I did it that morning. I came down the stairs at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know that I was going to a recovery centre, a rehab, call it that. But my wife was there. I didn't know I was getting dragged out of the bed at that time in the morning. That was didn't know. Went down the stairs into the kitchen, and the suitcase was packed, and my wife was standing there, and my brother was there, and I was bemused with what's going on. You're going to a rehab. We've checked you into a rehab. This is where you're going. You're going to the West Midlands, a place called Seasons, and I just accepted it. Now they say accept. I accepted that I was an alcoholic, an addict. I accepted that I was really unwell, and I fucking needed help. I didn't know that I had to hand my will over to God understand, or a power greater than myself, or a higher power. I didn't know any of that stuff at the time. But I was willing to do absolutely anything, open and willingly go. And if they told me to dance, which they did, there was dance classes. What the fuck? I paid fucking 10 grand for this, a dance class. What am I fucking doing? You know, doing what's it called? The cha-cha slide and the hokey-cokey. I like that one. What the art classes, like sitting fucking drawing Christmas trees. Didn't get it. 10,000 quid for this shit. But you know, we did meetings. We did like 8 AM. I'm not allowed to say the fellowships, but I did a few various meetings, and I picked my side of the ones that I got most out of. That was most fitting to me. I remember walking in, on the first day my brother dropped us off. I was in tears. I was very emotional at that time. I was broken, absolutely broken. Not a shadow of the man that once was. Just absolutely broken, just worthless, completely worthless. And I used to cry, even before that, I used to cry at the slightest of emotional things. And I didn't know why. Anyway, I got to the car, my brother dropped us off. I drank 8 cans of dark fruit on the way down there because I was told I wasn't allowed to get pissed. And when I got breath tested, I actually passed the breath test and said I could drive. How that worked, I don't live now. The breath test was being fucked. But I did what I was told anyway. I didn't turn up pissed. Because if I had 4 cans of Kestrel Super Strength and 2 bottles of wine, I would have been smashed. And I would have been sent home 4.5 hours back up the road. And I wasn't prepared to let that happen. The wife had sold a sunbed business at the time and used half of that money to get me into a rehab to try and make her husband well, And she didn't know how that was going to turn out. She didn't know what you're going to get back. When somebody's so broken from any kind of an action or anything, when they're so broken, you didn't know what you're going to get back and how much damage has already been done. But I remember walking into this rehab and I had these visions, because I've lived in fantasy all my life as well, I'm going to be this. And that's, you hear it in the rooms as well. That's a lot of everybody's story. And I thought I was going to be going to this rehab, like what the stars do in the Betty Ford clinic and this, that, the other. And there was going to be a swimming pool and a sauna and it wasn't anything like that. So I walks in the door, like shitty old council in the West Midlands. If you know what West Midlands, I know they call it the Black Country or whatever, but it's black like. You know, they're all Asians, they're all...
I lived in Leicester for 7 years. I know what it's like.
Aye. All us is when I married her, the kiss her where it smells, and I took her to Leicester like aye. No, but so I knocks on they came out in the street to get us.
Fucking hell.
I hope they do, because that's where I'm going. So I walks in, and I'll mention him because I'm not in a meeting, and anonymity doesn't come into it. I walked in the door, and it was one of them old shabby blue carpets that are heavy duty that you'd find in a cafeteria in a shop somewhere. Shit sticking to the floor at all kinds. It was horrible. I walked in, and fucking, oh my God. And as I walked into the sitting room, when I was, I'm looking on the settee, and those people what they call gouching out, and I didn't realise what gouching out, but I've done gouching out a lot of times on dihydrocodone, which is an opiate-based tablet, which I did 30 over the time, convinced myself that I needed them to sleep. It's actually gouching out, which is like, you're sitting awake like the fucking Exorcist. Wallace used to get terrified. What the fuck's the matter with him? Anyway, they were on what they call pre-gab rattles, heroin rattles, whatever that substitute is that they take.
Subutex or something?
Well, Subutex, I was on Subutex as well when I walked in there as well, 20 milligrams Subutex rattle for the opiate addiction that I had in the past. Anyway, and there was a lass called Marie that I met this day, and love that lass. She made me belly laugh when she started coming around, and I saw what I call the lights coming back on. But when I first saw her lying on that settee, gouching, like stretched out, fully dressed, and people in their pajamas, it was fucking like a scene from Grangetown in Middlesbrough. No, really. And I thought, oh my God, you know when talking about this word surrender, I remember I had to surrender my phone at the desk when I walked in because they don't want you making any outside contact with anybody.
All right, I didn't know that.
And the other day, and I know now why, because they just want to remove you. It's not brainwashing you. They just want to teach you how to live life on life's terms again. And they've only got 4 weeks to do it. Sometimes 3 months, depending on how much you paid or whether you got the charity bed. And I walked in, and I had my Rolex on, and still had opinions about myself, even though I was a raging alcoholic addict at the time, absolutely broken, so prepared to do absolutely anything that was suggested, apart from stay in this place for fucking 4 weeks, because I surrendered my phone. I wasn't allowed out to shave in case I drank it. That's the truth as well, because I got alcohol in. I wasn't allowed razors because you might cut yourself with them, and I didn't understand any of it. So they took everything away from me. I had nothing. Didn't have my phone either. And I walked into the sitting room, and there's people gouching all over the place, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I've come to the wrong place. Like, and I need my phone, I need to ring more kid, I need to ring my brother, see how far up the A1 he's got, get him back here now, because I'm in the wrong place. And I quickly realised I was in exactly the right place, because I was one of them. I'm walking by, hiding my Rolex, like you just said before, coming up, I'm thinking, fucking, I'm going, she's going to have this off my arm, like, and it wasn't like that at all, by the end of it, like with all the group sessions, with all the in-house and outside meetings that you're allowed to go into, it was like going back to school. It was like starting all over again. And my mum and dad probably taught me how to live life on life's terms. I just didn't think I listened. But I must have listened to something in them 4 weeks. 4 weeks came to the end, and it was a couple of days before I came out. And as I tell you, I was on a Subutex script, and I didn't realise substituting one for another will lead you to addiction all over again. And I'd also tried to manipulate a new script for me 20 mil, because that was the morning I went into rehab. I was supposed to pick me 20 mil script up, and I'd manipulated my way into picking me full week script up rather than taking it over what I used to call behind the curtain of the Grand Old Wizard of Oz. That was embarrassing. Like going and getting a Subutex crushed and putting it on your tongue and having to wait there till it dissolved and going, kind of like that, to show that it's gone, in case you spit it out and sell it to give somebody else. I'm going, fucking who would do that? Like, I'm not going to share my drugs. But anyway, I've manipulated me into 20 million. It was that morning. I'm it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get my script. So I manipulated me way into ringing NRP, my key worker, ringing the chemists and organising, which is normally not allowed, my wife to go and pick up the script. But by the time I got to the rehab centre, they were aware of the script that I was on, which is a good thing. First thing that they did was ring the chemist and say, cancel the script. We're going to...
Yeah.
And the advised is, look, you're going to need to wean yourself off these. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a detox on that as well. So I was on an alcohol detox for the 4 weeks. And as that 4 weeks come to an end, I was coming to the end of me 20 mil taper down.
Mm-hmm.
And I got offered an extra week in the rehab centre, which was going to be an extra 2,000 quid. Now, I wanted that money. I needed my wife to have that money because of where I'd taken off. It was the Christmas time coming out, you know. And I thought I kind of did. I asked my mum, and God bless her, like, she gave us it. She gave her son it. And that's one of the reasons that kept us in the early days. Because I didn't want to let my mum down, like, you know. But the advisors, look, stay for an extra week, because if you didn't, you're gonna get what they call a rattle. You're gonna get the rattle. It's in the post. I'm thinking, well, I'm only on this tiny little amount, but once you have that last script, what I didn't realise was, if I hadn't have taken them up, because I'm thinking, you just want me money.
Yeah.
You kind of get rid of the bed. You didn't want to clean my room. I don't know what it was. It was. I'm glad I took them up on it. Because if I had walked out that treatment centre that day, I would have fucking been straight to the shop. The rattle was horrendous. Some people say that pre-gam rattles are worse. Some people say heroin. A lot of people have said that the Subutex rattle is one of the worst ones that you can get. And you get what they call irritable leg syndrome. Your body wants to get to sleep, but your legs can't. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible.
How long did that last?
What, your legs feeling like that? the rattle. Well, I stayed in the rehab centre for the next week.
Right, so
another week. But truthfully, I was in tears on my last checkout. Checkout where you all check out on the night time and check in the morning. How you're feeling, going round the room, and you say where you're at the day, how your night's sleep went, how you're feeling, where your thoughts are, and it works. Sharing with each other works. But it wasn't about, because this was the morning I was had to say goodbye to them all. And I had something to say to each one of them. By the time I hit the first one, I was in fucking tears, crying my eyeballs out, because I loved them all. It was the safest I've felt in my entire life. It really was. Because that was a big thing. What I didn't realise was, I've grown up, and I didn't realise is, in fear. Fear if I didn't even know what. You know, frightened that it's not going to work. Like, what's not going to work? Like, I don't know. Just, it's not going to work. Just in fear, not of no man. I fear no man. I fear no person. I fear, you know what? I fear life on life's terms, because it's not easy. It isn't easy, and I hear this all the time now. And I face it now without any fear, which is what I've gotten from recovery. That's the biggest thing I've gotten from recovery. So going around the room, by the end of it, I was just in a mess of tears. And I didn't know whether people get something from seeing somebody's vulnerability, but they were all in tears and all. I got fucking bubble now, just fucking thinking about it, I swear to God. And I carried on crying in the corridor, and there was key workers coming out, the psychiatrist was coming out, like, what's the matter with you? Like, and my answer was, I'm fucking terrified, I'm frightened. I was the safest I felt in my life, and I'm about to walk out that door. I could see my brother's car parked outside, waiting. And I'd spent 5 weeks in the bubble, feeling this. I had nothing to do apart from serenity prayers and meetings and art classes and being with them and listening to how they're feeling and how I'm feeling. And I've seen some horrible things in that. I've seen people walk out the door 2 days into the rattle and give up the chance of recovery. It was horrible, in the fucking snow. In the snow, in a nightie, just walked out, just couldn't take it. And she ended up on the crack pipe straight on the bus stop across the road, begging for terrible. That's another thing to say. You know, go in the room, have a few minutes silence for the still recovering addict. That's what they say. And every time I shut my eyes, every time I shut my eyes now, I'm still thinking that that's, you know, fucking how that ended up for her. Just how it ended up. Because it doesn't end fucking good, like, it doesn't.
No.
You know, I heard this, you hear this in the rooms, because I got the meetings, I won't say where the meetings are, but the fellowships, and it works, it really does work. This 12-step program works. And this year, I also got told towards the end of the recovery, and that's why I was so terrified again about that one. The reason I was so terrified walking out the door, frightened to walk out that door to face life on life's terms. What's the matter? What you frightened of? I'm fucking frightened of relapsing, because 2 days before that I'd done a thoughts and feelings class, and I'm ranting and raving about the things that I want and how I like to cycle and how I like to go into the gym and how I like to work and how my whole life's filled with all these things that I thought that I needed to do. Mm-hmm. So, well, you're going to change them priorities. You're going to have to get to 90 meetings in 90 days. You're going to have to work at what they call a 12-step program. Step 1, my life became unmanageable. And
Step 2, coming to believe in a power.
My life became unmanageable. I became powerless over my addiction. My life became unmanageable. Step 1, and I've just completed my step 1 yesterday, and I'll tell you what, I'm still not well, like, and I'm definitely a fucking addict. One thing is for certain, I am definitely an addict, and I am still definitely not well, and won't be well for the rest of my life, but I can work on it through the steps, no matter where I was. Terrified, because I've been told my chances of making it out there, and I wanted this, I've wanted nothing else. I've wanted nothing else so much in my entire life than to give my wife something back. That was either the same as what you had in the early days or something even better. Give me mum something back, just give me grandkids a fucking granddad, just for whatever time that I've got life, you know. And I got told by this keyword that your chances of survival, your chances of making it are 10%. One of the reasons that you'll fail in your recovery is lackadaisicalness, which is complacency. Mm-hmm. And we've just talked through me like there, you know, smashing it for 3 months, everything, bang, fight's over, and that disappear for 3 months. That's complacency. Mm-hmm. Like, anybody that's going to make it at the very top carries on. It's about persistence. It's about maintaining. And this is what you've got to do in recovery. You cannot just drift by the wayside. And when I heard him say complacency, I'm thinking, fuck me, that's me. And that's what I was resonating. I hated the bastard for it. I hated that man, Mikey, they call him. I hated that man for telling me that. Because I thought he didn't like us. I thought he was trying to be a cunt. I thought he's like wanted to make us feel bad and hurt us. And at the end of that session, I stood and cried in the corner of the kitchen, hiding from everybody. The psychiatrist came in again, because you have camera everywhere in these rooms. And he wanted to know like why I was so vulnerable and what's the matter. I'm fucking, he's just fucking telling me that like my fucking life's over because I can't cycle, which takes a couple of hours. I do hundreds of miles a week on the bike, on the racer. I like to train in the mornings or train on the night times. I got to work. I do all these things. I thought they were the most important things. And that, like, my life's over because I've got to get 90 meetings. I've got to have a meeting every night. 90 meetings in 90 days. I've got to do this step work. Apparently, if you do one question on yourself, like there's 69 questions in step 1. 69 questions in step 1 alone on yourself. If you do one question a night, I got told it would take 18 months to get through to your step 12, where you find this spiritual awakening, where you find this peace in yourself. And then he's telling us, guess what you do? You get to do then? Start the fucking again. And I thought my life was over. Psychiatrist says, that's not what he's telling you, Eric. It's not what he's telling you. Do you know what? He's a man that I think about all the time. And I speak to people down in the West Midlands now and I say, please tell Mikey that I made it. I've made it this far anyway. Just for a day, 24 hours. For the day, I'm still making it. Yeah. And his message to me is what gave me the fear of God, that I was going to be that in that fucking 90%, that walk back out that door and made a cunt of myself. And they told me the same thing as I was walking out the door, as I'm in tears, like petrified to walk out the door and hit life on life's terms. He said, look, the fear that you've got is a healthy fear. Use that fear. If you didn't have that fear, you wouldn't have fucking taken anything in when you were here. I didn't realise what he meant. And honestly, when I walked out that door, it was like hitting a brick wall. Hitting a brick wall. The smell, like, the smells hit us. When I walked back in the house, I've got 5 dogs, and I could fucking smell them dogs, like. The smell, the sound of the grandson.
All of your senses coming back.
Senses and feelings, but the smell, the noise, it was like fucking noise in your head. And I knew that I needed a meeting, and I needed a meeting that night, and I found one, and I went to it, and you know what, I continued. When I walked out of that meeting, I felt calm, I felt relaxed, I felt at peace, and I realised I shared my shit. I was still resentful in them very, very early days. Not resentful, sorry. I was still judgmental, absolutely judgmental. All the people, and I've just gone through this in the recovery centre, all of the people in that meeting, I'm thinking, I know him from the Meadowell and the Deer. I know the and that fucker there. Where, and they were from what they call a dry house in Blythe, a recovery centre.
Aye.
And I was judgmental about that, like, fucking, if I keep coming here, it's got to be the same people every week from recovery centres. Doesn't matter which meeting you go to, they're all in recovery centres, they're all fucking recovering addicts. And I didn't realise, when I kept on going back, it became my home meeting in the end. It became my home meeting. And the peace that I got and the things that I learned, it's got me where I am today. And I'm not trying to big it up that I've got anything special going on in my life, but I sit in peace. And I wake up early doors every morning. I do the basic things like walk through the woods with the dogs. Like, I've never done that since I was a kid. And I thought I had a shit upbringing. I've thought the worst outcome on everything that I made. My life was the worst. That's how it got in the end. Now, 8 months in, looking back on my life, it was fucking brilliant. Like, childhood was beautiful. There was no trauma. I cannot look for an excuse. I turned out the way I turned out because it was decided the day I was born. That's what I believe. There's a plan laid out for what all this is what I got told in recovery centre by, funny enough, by a bloke that sent a message to me now, because he's back out there flat out. He did some recovery in New Zealand. He's working in recovery centres. He's done recovery in recovery centres, then got some volunteering work, then ended up working there, taking the addicts all around in his fishing boat and all kinds. Daughter ended up flat out over here. He ended up back over here trying to help her. That took him back out the door, and he's back out the door now again. And what he told me then, he got told by his sponsor, and then I can say this because the called Bill and Bob, that's what they're called, from 1933. They founded the what they call the 12-step program.
Yeah. Which
led to different fellowships taking on those same principles, spiritual principles. It's a spiritual program, non-religious. If you're religious, you can work it as well, but spiritual is something that you find yourself. Anyway, he told me that in the day, like, fuck off. There's a plan laid out for all that's got fuck all to do with us. Just turn up, be the best version of yourself you can be, and that plan will take care of itself. And it's going to happen. Let it happen. That's what he always tells us. He now tells us, sitting in self-pity, I didn't know what to do. Andy, you do know what to do. You know exactly what to do. You showed me the way. You came before me. You showed me the way. I love that man to death, but I can't do no to help him. I cannot be responsible for other people's recoveries, other people's addictions, people, places, or things, you know. Because I was a control freak as well. And if I couldn't control the universe, I thought the universe held itself in orbit around the fucking sun because of me. I ended up getting a Ibiza, you know. And I was terrified because I'm thinking, fucking, I know what I did. I've been to Ibiza 27 years off the trot, a couple of times a year sometimes, you know. It's a spiritual home. I got married there again for my 20th anniversary. We took a load of people over. It was a beautiful fucking day with mixing of the sand ceremony from Ibiza. It's a spiritual home. It really is. And I was terrified again. And if the truth was, I was using every excuse in the book not again. And it was for fear of relapse. I wanted to keep what I got, and I was still living by the principle I will do anything I've got. I'll go to all lengths, any lengths, to keep what I've got. And if that means not getting to be there, he's get on the plane, he's gone, and I'll not. But I did. The first thing I did was get to a meeting. Because back in the day, and it was fucking brilliantly. It really was. But I'd travel every day, the length and the breadth of Ibiza to find and use drugs. That is a fact. And I had kids. They'll have seen it all. I tried to hide it from them. They were with us. They were safe. The man was always spot on. But I would. And the first thing I did there this time was go and find a meeting, a fellowship meeting. And it was ironic. I'm sitting in the taxi, laughing my tits off. The taxi driver didn't even know where he's gone. I'm just showing him a picture. Just take us there. Care. I'm kind of Manuel from Barcelona. Like, where's he going to take us? Where's he going to take us? But I got there. And I thought to myself at the time, you know, I travelled the length and breadth of Ibiza to find and use drugs. Yeah. I can certainly travel the length and breadth of Ibiza to save my own life. And it was brilliant. It was great. And you know, I sat in that aeroplane on the way home, and they talk about making amends to the people that you've caused harm to. And I caused some harm to my wife, like I put her through the fucking mill, like I did. Just wasn't present. It must have been horrible for her in the end. And you kind of just come home after recovery and say, I'm sorry. Sorry for all that shit. Sorry for humiliating you. Yeah. Sorry for me walking about. Sorry for me being known as fucking Rob C. Nesbitt of Cramlington Village. You know? Once upon a time Superman. And I now fucking walking around with these socks and shoes on, not giving a fuck. Stealing wine from Sainsbury's because his wife hasn't left him 20 quid to go and buy 4 cans of Kestrel Super Strength. She said it was on the aeroplane, which I was still terrified, still sitting in fear of flying, going back to the control thing. I had no control over that aeroplane staying in the air. Yeah. And that's what I'm frightened of. If it goes down, there's no way I can fucking do. I can't fucking fly for half an hour. I'd rather travel by boat because at least I can swim for fucking half an hour if the boat goes down, you know. But I realised, and I'm looking around at the people drinking because that's why I drank on airplanes was to get rid of that fear. Just made it all go away. Bottle of vodka, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, whenever. That fear will be gone, but I'd be fucking thinking it was hilarious jumping on the conveyor belt where the bags come. Aye. And get like lying on the belt in a Turkish airport where it's gonna be, what do they call it, Midnight Express. It was fucking mental. Just it must have been fucking horrible for them, like, you know. I was shit-faced from the day that I got there every single time. She said it was on the aeroplane on the way home. Eric, if she tells us she loves us every day, you know, but that's just words, innit? Because that's what wives and that's what husbands say to each other. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
You say it that much, it loses its meaning.
It loses its meaning. It does and it doesn't, but you know what I'm saying? They're saying it because they do, but like it's expected. It's just like saying goodbye, hello. It's the same thing. If they didn't say it, you would think, what's the matter with that? You know what I mean? But she said something that she's never said to us in 27 years. You've been great company. Great company. Oh, I'm going to fucking start going again. I fucking had to turn away on the aeroplane and fucking cry because I've never heard that. And I knew, and I said this just yesterday, you know, I knew I was making amends to her. I knew that it took 8 months, and I haven't said sorry. That is making amends to me, because she told us this as well in recovery. I'm saying, are you happy enough in recovery? Because I didn't like to ask, but she said, happy. Honestly, Eric, went in the Holiday Inn one night, she said, and it was what I said before, you know, when you send somebody away to get an operation from a brain injury or a trauma, you didn't know what you're going to get back. Because they'll never be the same again. She said, you were really that bad, and I'm not getting at it, but you were really that bad, that far in, that you were fucking gone. You can get what they call charity beds, but you got to wait 3 months to get them. Wait. I couldn't wait. I was going to die. 12 bottles of red wine, 24/7, wasn't eating food, projectile vomiting every single morning after my first drink. And then the madness of chucking that drink straight down till it would hold. Didn't eat food. Eating was cheating. You know, if you went, when they talk about the insanity and the madness, if you went and bought one of them whoopsie bits of meat, they call it on the whoopsie tray, that's cheap meat, that's out of date, because I'll eat out of date meat, no problems at all. But you bring it home, it's been sitting in the warm or whatever the crack is, and you eat it, and you get fucking food poisoning. And you're vomiting, and you're choking it up. You wouldn't go back to Sainsbury's the next morning and buy another fucker off the whoopsie tray, would you? But by fuck, I was vomiting every morning, every single morning. And I knew I was going to. Sometimes I was vomiting, having to pull over my van, which I was driving, or a grab wagon, HGV, which I haven't even got a license for, which didn't make a half of difference because it wasn't road taxed, which didn't make a difference because I was driving on the path. And I jumped out on the lay-by on the A1. Traffic police could be coming by and all kinds, and I'm fucking projectile vomiting. And all I'm worried about is the fact that my son will find out I've been drinking because it's red spew coming out my mouth because it's pure wine. Like, he didn't already know that I was smashed. I'd been flat out for years. What I didn't realise as well is my wife tells us this now, my son was there every night after work, at the end of every night, and I didn't realise this, but he was there every night to say that his dad had been put to bed and he was still alive. That's how bad it got. I didn't say none of that, can't remember none of that. The wife used to come home on a night time and I'd already be what they call blacked out. So you drink all day, but you'd be smashed by the time you come in. I'd be in the same place every day, flat out of the city in blackout. Blackout is fucking purely unconscious. I'd wake up, she wouldn't come home at all. She'd be at the daughter's house with the grandkids. Because she didn't want the grandkids to see me in that state. She brought them home once and she said, "What's wrong with Grandma? Is he not well?" Like, and she stopped bringing them all together, you know. I'd gone to bed, dragged myself up to the bed, and I'd black out again, and I'd wake up at about 2 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock, whatever the time was. If there wasn't a drink there, I'd just get up, get the keys, get into Nicola's bedroom, have a fight. Not a punchy fight, but an argument, because I'd be asking for money. And I'm only asking for money for one reason, you know. In the mornings, the worst thing that she disliked most about it all was the telling her lies, the need to tell her lies. She knew I was a fucking alcoholic. She knew, you know, "Have you been in the shop?" "No, I haven't been in the shop." "So why, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, why is your car pointing in a different direction than it was 10 minutes ago?" God, it's there, like, haven't you? And I'd still fucking make an excuse up, you know. But, yeah, life's just so much better in recovery. And, you know, it's all to do with the fellowships. It's all to do with the connections of Rachel. I met Rachel, ironically, on the journey when I came out of recovery at exactly the same meeting, exactly the same time, with the same length in recovery, you know. And I'll tell you, it's people like Rachel that give us the inspiration and the strength to carry on. And the reason I say that, well, how does that make sense? You're talking shit. You're just telling people what they want to hear because you're simply beside you. It's not. It's because this all works because of the connection. Nothing else say. You know, you're a clever bloke yourself, Craig. And I didn't realise how clever. We've shared this about your music background, your rapping background, your fur jacket, your podcasting. It's fucking brilliant. It's great. Yeah, the courage that you show on them things, because I'd be fucking terrified that somebody was going to come and smash me fucking house up. The things that you say, fucking Jesus Christ.
I've had a few near misses. Well,
yeah, but the thing is, I've met lawyers in the rooms. I've met lawyers in the rooms. I've met judges in the rooms. I've met policemen in the rooms. And last night, I won't say where, there was a professor in the rooms, nurses in rooms, surgeons in rooms, boxers in rooms, ex-England boxers in rooms. We're now the big dog kid, who is now turning pro, box for England. There's some talent in them rooms. One thing for sure, man, woman, this disease does not discriminate. When it gets a hold of you, if you don't deal with it, it will fucking take you, and it'll take you to either carry on the best way you can till the bitter end, jails, institutions, or death. Unless, and I won't show you the front, but unless you pick up that book, start working on yourself, dig deep, because it will rip you apart, but you'll find out a lot about yourself. You'll learn how to live life on its own terms again. And as we say in the meetings, just one more thing. I'll leave it there, Craig. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
We
should sit down and do this once a week, and we can, you know what I mean. I'll tell my story or something next week, and then we can just sit and have a big crack.
I didn't think I could have sat and talked. Just edit bits and bobs and try and make sure.
Recording now.
Sorry,
Because you're finished.
it's an hour and 10 minutes. That
Or was it
right?
stop now?
Now it has, and we're finished now.